And I never use cliches, but it tries to peel back the leaves of the onion to explain some political verities, and particularly that buzzword neoconservative. My own thought is that if neocon, the label, was changed to banana, as Alfred Kahn once said about inflation, Carter said you can't use the word inflation, so he used banana. I think the views and values that it promotes would, roughly speaking, command the loyalties of about 70% of the American public. I mean, that's what the polls have shown over and over again: 40% moderate, 30% conservative, 17, 18, 19% liberal. So, and people keep asking, well, what actually is a neoconservative? I worked for my personal hero, Senator Henry Scoop Jackson, in two different, actually three different presidential campaigns. And he came up with, I think, is the best working definition. It was sort of a little play on words. And his slogan was common sense for a change, because the left of the party had gone way overboard in what is called the 60s, but actually runs from the mid-60s probably to the mid-70s. And what the common sense involves, as I see it, is social order, a belief in market economics with regulation, and an assertive foreign policy, not a wild foreign policy run by a bunch of Jews and think tanks, but a foreign policy that says one of the great things that America will be remembered for is the promotion of the views and values of democracy and liberty. You know, the Freedom House, which is started by the high priestess of liberalism, Eleanor Roosevelt, keeps track, and the Heritage Foundation of Political Liberty, the Heritage Foundation keeps track of the economic liberty. And in the last 40 years, the number of people living under some form of legitimate democratic governance has gone from 10% to 60%. Now, people say, well, that's the neocons. They want to make everybody like America. But, you know, axiom number one in geopolitics is democracies do not go to war with each other. So it's not just some little hobby horse. Just think about the 20th century. Who caused the horror? The Kaiser, Hitler, Stalin, the Japanese militarists, Castro. I think there was one little soccer war for 3 days between two ostensible democracies in Latin America. So when the neocons, the Banana Party, starts saying it is important, non-coercively, when necessary, to promote the ideas of democracy, it is not just a hobby horse. It's real geopolitics, serious geopolitics. And that 60% number, I mean, nobody quite knows what's going on in China, but they have some form of economic freedom. I guess the political freedom, I hope, is going in the right direction. When that moves, you're going to have 90%. And that, in my judgment, is probably the greatest single achievement that the United States can regard as a legacy for historians looking back 50 years or so from now.